You know how you've been diving into all this unconventional learning stuff? Well, get this. Today we're going deep on Kuro 777.
Crow 777, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's amazing how many people like him are out there now, just independent thinkers.
totally. It's like this whole hidden world opened up.
It really is like that human need to learn, right? But outside the system, outside the textbook, it's always been there.
And honestly, a name like Crow 777, come on with those triple sevens, you just gotta know more.
It's like, what's he all about? A total mystery, but in a good way, like you just stumbled on something nobody else gets.
Okay, so to kick things off, we gotta start at his website because right away you see his tagline: Belief is the enemy of knowing. Talk about a curveball. That's not your average inspirational poster quote.
It's not just some gimmick, though. I think it gets at something people are really feeling right now?
Mhm.
Like that gut feeling of, hey, don't just tell me what to believe. I want to figure it out myself. And when you think about it, it kind of throws shade on the whole way we're taught to just accept what we're told.
Totally. And he's big on that, by the way, like constantly talking about free speech, no censorship, the whole nine yards. You get the vibe he's not afraid of, like ruffling some feathers, you know what I mean?
Which is probably music to the ears of anyone looking for something different.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's that finally someone's saying it out loud kind of feeling.
Right. And for those who are really all in, there's the whole membership thing he's got going on, different tiers, exclusive content. Pretty standard these days, but you got to hand it to him. It's a smart move for someone doing their own thing, building that community.
Definitely. It's not just about money either. It's like creating a space where people who connect with his ideas can go even deeper.
Speaking of community, didn't things kind of blow up for Cropper 777 when he started showing those lunar observations? Wasn't that like his claim to fame?
Oh, for sure. That's when things got really interesting. Like
Mm.
before that, he was doing his thing, but those observations, that's what really put him on the map. People were hooked.
For those who maybe missed that whole thing, we're talking about some pretty wild footage, right? Like he catches this lunar wave thing, this ripple
Mhm.
moving across the moon's surface, and it's not like he's messing around with a disposable camera here. Dude's got some serious equipment.
Right. And that's what makes it so hard to just brush off. I mean, if it was some grainy, blurry thing, you could maybe chalk it up to shaky hands or whatever. But this was high def, crystal clear.
Mm.
No way that was just a smudge on the lens.
I bet the internet had a field day with that one. Did he ever say what he thought it was?
That's the thing about Crocro 777. He's not really about feeding you answers. You know,
Yeah.
like, remember that whole belief is the enemy of knowing thing? He lives by that. He'd rather show you the evidence, the raw footage, and let you chew on it. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions.
I gotta admit, there's something kind of refreshing about that. It's like instead of just telling us what to think, he's saying, hey, think for yourself.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And isn't that what real learning is all about, though? I mean, anybody can memorize a bunch of facts, but to really understand something, you got to wrestle with it. Ask the tough questions.
We even got an email from a listener who, after watching Cora 777 stuff, swears they saw something similar through their own telescope. Talk about a trip.
See, that's wild, right? That's what Crow 777 does to you, though. Makes you look twice, question what you see, makes you wonder, what if he's onto something? But it does make you think, right?
Yeah.
Like with all the crazy stuff floating around online, how do you even approach this kind of information responsibly? How do you know what to trust?
So, how do we walk that line, between opening our minds to new ideas, but not getting like totally lost in some internet rabbit hole?
Honestly, it all comes down to thinking critically. You can't just swallow everything whole, especially if it's coming from someone who acts like they've got all the answers.
Easier said than done, though, right? Especially with something like this. I mean, it's exciting seeing something new, hearing a theory nobody else is talking about.
Oh, totally. Confirmation bias is a real thing. It's way too easy to just gravitate towards whatever makes us feel smart, or like
Mm.
just confirms what we already thought. But that doesn't mean it's true.
Which is kind of cool about Corrosive 777 when you think about it. He doesn't pretend to have it all figured out, just puts it out there, lets you make up your own mind.
Exactly. Which brings us back to you listening. You've been exploring this stuff, right? So what is it you're looking for that maybe you're not finding somewhere else?
What are the questions you've got, the mysteries you just got to get to the bottom of? Maybe this is a chance to find some answers, or at least start asking better questions.
Because who knows, maybe by looking at things from a different angle, questioning what we think we know, we might actually learn something new about the world, even about ourselves.
And maybe, just maybe, we'll all be inspired to make a closer look at the moon tonight. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Crow 777. Keep those minds curious, and remember, belief might be the enemy of knowing, but curiosity, that's your compass. See you next time.